Hey everybody, and welcome to Mediocre Gamers, where we discuss all things gaming. I'm Crimson, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Caleb.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we got a little bit of news today. Looks like Tyrael in Heroes of the Storm is going to be getting a rework, and
Maiev.
I want to say Medivh for some reason.
I know. Every time I see her name pop up, I'm like, what? I thought Medivh was already in the game.
Yeah, Maiev comes to the Nexus. Now, I'm just going to stop a little bit in between each of these, and we'll just talk a little bit. I think Tyrael needs a rework so bad.
He does.
He's definitely a fun hero, but he's very hard to play with. Unless your name is Andy, and then you totally own and make me eat my freaking hat.
That was still the funniest thing ever.
I think... No. The worst day ever. And Maya looks really good, but she looks like a very high skill cap player. She should be quite fun, but if you don't know how to play her, you're really going to be a detriment to your team. But if you're good with her, you're going to just own the other team.
This is definitely one of those characters that you want to practice versus AI before you jump into like a quick match with her. She's cool.
Yes,
her trait allows her to basically jump and become invincible for a short time. So if you see, like, I don't know, let's just say spitballing Ragnaros' flame wave coming. Now, if you see Ragnaros' flame wave coming, then you're fine and you're gonna win that game anyway. But if you see it coming and right before it hits you, you can hit your D key and you'll jump and become invincible and basically leap over the flames and come down and you won't have any damage done to you. So it's really good for being able to counter ults. But again, like you were saying, it's high skill because it's not a skill shot like somebody like Kel'Thas or Kel'Thuzad, either of the KTs really, or Jaina or somebody like that. It's more of a timing of going, it's not, I need to put this here to like lead them where they're going to run into it. It's more like, oh shit, I have to time this perfectly so that ult misses me.
Yep. But yeah, it should be fun and definitely something interesting.
And I want to see Tyrael get reworked. I want to see what they do with him.
I do. I really do. He's such a badass character, and he just doesn't feel like a badass in the game.
No, especially for a warrior where he doesn't fit into the bruiser or the tank category. He's kind of in between, but bad at both roles. Yeah, he's like a utility tank. I don't know. He's fun, and he's always going to be a badass, but I just hope that they, with this rework, they really take him up a notch, because, again, unless you're Andy, he's terrible.
Yeah. Like, seriously, it just... ow. Nightmares about that day. It looks like Battlefront 2 is supposedly getting a new player-focused progression system or some other bullshit.
Yeah. I saw on, I think it was The No, was talking about it, and they're like, oh yeah, Battlefront 2 just announced that they're going to have a more player-focused progression system and are like going to completely rework it. And they're like, huh, I wonder if that means that they're going to take everything out of the loot boxes or not. And I'm like, this is another Destiny 2 type tactic, I feel. They're going to go, hey, we fucked up this and this and this. We're going to make it player-focused. You can't see the air quotes I'm giving, but I'm giving them hard. And it's going to just be... It's going to be a half-assed attempt to placate the pissed-off customers. But, and I hate to say it, because Battlefront 2 has always looked good. It looked fun to play. And same with... Like,
The first one
what I heard. But I'm like, I can never give them my money for that game. Like, I could never play that game on principle now.
No, you really can't.
Which sucks.
And it's... no... I watch a YouTuber called Philip DeFranco, and I know you do too. And he does go into this little spit where he talks about this apology video that's going to be coming out from Logan Paul. And then he literally goes off and is like, here's what it's going to have in it. It's going to have an old guy crying and some music and sappiness. And he's going to donate money and talk. He's like, it's just literally a fucking cookie cutter apology, and that's how I feel with like Destiny and Battlefront and all these other. It's just the same fucking apology that doesn't mean anything.
It really doesn't, because same with Destiny, same with Battlefront, that they've fucked up so many times that it's like, you guys just don't even get it. You don't. It's kind of like trying to explain to somebody how you feel about something, and they're just sitting there like, no, I don't get it. What's wrong? Well, let me try to fix it. Let me put a Band-Aid over it. Let me douse it in alcohol and light it on fire. It's like, no, listen to me. Listen to the words that we're saying. We don't want skills in the loot boxes. And they're like, so no loot boxes, we're taking them out. No, because we still have, 4 weeks to grind to get a character. It's like, we want you to fix the game.
Yeah.
Whatever you did with this, fix it.
We want it to feel like a game and not a fucking casino.
Right?
That's simple. I want to spend $60.
And all you can do in that game is lose money. You can't even gain money. So it really is a casino. The house always wins.
And then, speaking of shooters, looks like Rainbow Six Siege is getting a price hike with 3-year content coming out. So if you're interested, pick it up soon before they jack the price up. Now, this is a game I don't own, but I've heard nothing but great things from this game. And I've been very interested in this game, just haven't had the disposable income as of late to pick up any games.
Yeah, and I played the beta and it was really fun, but it wasn't one of those games where I go, oh, I need to pick this up. But it does feel like it is that kind of the next step up from Counter-Strike, because it has a very Counter-Strike feel.
Okay.
But it's more than just like, hey, everybody, you spawn in, you buy a weapon, you go and you plant the bomb or you defuse the bomb, or you rescue the hostage or you defend the hostage. It's like, let's take the hostage situation. So you're in a house, just like in Counter-Strike, you have the terrorists and you have the counter-terrorists, basically. The terrorists have ways to basically barricade doors, reinforce walls, stuff like that, barbed wire to slow down and I think deal like damage over time to the cops that are walking through it, stuff like that. So there's a lot more like versatility to the characters that you play as, and each one is kind of like Overwatch, where you play as a quote-unquote operator and they are unique to the team. So if you play like Sledgehammer, then he's really great at like breaching doors, and he may have a certain set of weapons that he's better at using.
Wait. So he's got a certain set of skills?
He has a certain set of skills.
I'm so sorry.
Well, that maybe that's the whole plot, is that he has a certain set of skills, and the hostage is actually his daughter.
There you go.
Turns out Sledgehammer is Liam Neeson.
I've been watching that TV show.
It's good. I think I watched the first half of the first season when it was on TV, and I'm like, yeah, this is solid. And I like the actor. He plays Rollo in Vikings as well.
Oh, does he? Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, okay,
he does a good job
on this. He does. So definitely check that out too if you guys are looking for something new to watch. I think it's on.
It's on Hulu.
Is it on Hulu? That's what it is. I was like, I can't remember if it was Hulu or Netflix, but yeah, check it out on Hulu.
But it's on Netflix too, just not the newest episodes.
I gotcha. But yeah, definitely check out Rainbow Six Siege while you can. I don't know how long the sales are going to last, but I know Uplay and Humble Bundle both have sales going on for Siege, and I think it's about $21 for the base game, $32 for the Gold Edition. But I would pick up the base. I wouldn't pick up the Gold Edition because I don't know how their yearly content works. I don't know if it rotates. So if you buy the Gold Edition now, it's going to have the year 2.
And you can always a la carte whatever you
exactly.
need.
So if you're going to pick it up, pick up the base game. Try to get it while it's on sale, because basically how they're doing this is you get the season pass, and as the year progresses, then the game gets cheaper, just like every other game. But now, since they're releasing yearly season passes, once the next year happens, like this is going to be year 3, they're going to jack the price back up and do a full-priced season pass, which I can almost understand. Almost.
I mean, you got to pay people somehow.
Yeah, but I just hope that they're not going to charge more for the base game. I can see for the Gold Edition.
Right, if it contains all 3 years.
Yes. And again, I don't know how the content works. I don't know if, like, after year 3 comes out, the year 2 content rotates off of the playlists or something. Again, I haven't played the game since the beta, but definitely research it before you hit that checkout button. But it's a cool game, and it's only gotten better. I've watched a lot of YouTubers who say, you know, they hated Siege when it first came out, and then they picked it up recently, and it was infinitely better. They fixed a bunch of the problems. There's a ton new maps, new operators, stuff like that. So very similar to, like, The Division, which, hey, is another Tom Clancy game. But, it feels like Tom Clancy games get better with age.
They do. They mature.
They do. But yeah, so definitely try to check that out, and I may end up trying to pick it up. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
But
and then, so
what have you been playing?
Yeah, we'll jump into what we've been playing. Well, no surprise, I've been playing World of Warships still. I've been
what?
Oh no! Welcome to the World of Warships podcast. No, I'm not.
Don't worry, because we're switching over to the Division podcast after this.
Woo! Check back in an hour for that one. No, I mean, I'm still enjoying it. Still enjoying Blitz. Still enjoying the base game. I've been playing a little low tiers because I've just been trying out different nations other than American ships, and just been having a fun time. And I did post on our Facebook a referral code. So if anybody out there is interested in it, use the referral code. I'm not getting, anything worthwhile from it, but it does allow you, when you get to level 2 or tier 2, you get a premium ship, which will help you level up captains.
Nice.
And then when you get to tier 6, you will get a USS Texas, which is actually a really good battleship for free. And I think you can buy the Texas for $30.
Damn.
But this pretty much gives it to you for free.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's a really good deal. And you get a bunch of like gold, silver, doubloon, that sort of stuff. So it's definitely worth it if it's something people are interested in. I'm not making a killing on it or anything like that. It's just, it's mainly there to get people to play the game, to get into the game, not for us to just make, alt accounts to get free stuff.
Yeah.
This is why they didn't.
I was going to say, didn't you
say
people were pretty pissed that, like, the person doing the referrals was not getting a free ship or stuff?
Yeah, no free ship. They get, like, a cosmetic flag that they can put on their ship, and then a little bit of silver and a little bit of doubloons, and that's it. Nothing special at all. But it's not about special. It's about getting people into the game, and this way people aren't just making alt accounts, because that actually doesn't increase the player base at all. So
exactly.
I like the way they're doing it, and they're giving a lot of value to the new player, and that's the important part.
Definitely.
Not always about getting that, that new mount for recruiting people. It's about getting people in to play with.
But also that new mount.
Yeah. Fuck those referral programs. They just suck.
They do suck. I fucking hate those.
Yeah. But really, what I kind of want to talk about this week is a little bit of L5R. I know with WTFFG being on hiatus, we don't really have an outlet to talk about some games, and I know you kind of put a lot of those games on the back burner right now. And same here.
Yeah.
RJ's been busy, so we haven't been playing a lot of Arkham Horror at all. So I have still been playing L5R, still been enjoying it. The state of the game right now is actually quite strong. And how I feel, what makes me feel like it's strong is the fact that if I sit down and I play against a dragon deck, it could be one of 3 different types of dragon decks. To me, that's what makes the game healthy. It isn't, oh, I'm sitting down, I'm going to play Lion, it's going to be this exact Lion deck every time. It's because the decks, there's variety now. And this has really helped with the game. A good example is Crane. I mean, we had a league at our local game store, and every week I had a different Crane deck. Like, not even joking. Had a completely different Crane deck.
So, like, one of them was, like, control, one of them was, like, hard control, and one of them was, like, super hard control?
No. No, I did have a control one.
What? You don't play control.
And then my other one was a Voltron deck.
Okay.
So it literally, I mean, the goal was to get 1 or 2 characters out and put a ton of fate on them, and then just pile all the attachments on them. At one time I had a character with like 12 different attachments on them.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I happen to be using the Challenger, which pulls people into the combat. So if I attack and you don't block, I'm still pulling a character in.
Such a dick move.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it worked really good. You can find it if you search for like Crane Tower deck. That's what they're called, our tower decks, the Voltron decks.
Okay.
And then I made a military aggro Crane deck.
Weird.
Go figure, right?
That's weird.
Yeah, but it worked. It was actually like White Weenie. It had a bunch of low-cost characters, but then it would transition. If it got to mid-game, it would transition into a more control-y. Okay. It was quite interesting, quite fun. It's actually the current deck I'm
nice. Running. That's weird. And L5R is I don't know, it's kind of a beast all on its own, because when I went into it, and I know I had a very brief stay with L5R, but, when I went into it, I'm like, okay, Martell control from Game of Thrones is my style. And you know me, I differ in style from, like, Magic decks. I like combo, I like control, and I like aggro, but I usually go something like aggro control with, like, one combo set in there. That way it's very versatile. And so when I go into L5R, I'm like, I'm looking for something like Martell Control or like some sort of aggro-y control deck. And I was like, oh, Scorpion or Phoenix. Those are Martelli. And then I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I don't like playing this. I want to play something different. I want to play combo. I want to play Phoenix combo. And
which you can now. Yes, and they're so powerful.
But that's the crazy thing about L5R is that, like you are a control player. You have been a control player for years, and you're now playing an aggro deck, and you like it. So it's cool that L5R is that diverse of a game that it almost encourages people to step out of their comfort zone and go, hey, have you played aggro in the past decade in any game? It's like, no. Well, you're going to now because this is really fucking fun. And it doesn't feel stupid like, oh, I throw down a million things and then I swing at phase.
Yeah. Now,
because that's not how L5R works. It's not a face game.
I did play the Phoenix Martell deck that you're thinking of.
How was it?
And I didn't lose the game.
What?
Yeah, it was stupid good.
Nice.
Well, the problem is, when you played it, they didn't have the packs out. So you were missing a very key character. They have that new character that came out that's like a champion for them.
Oh, yeah.
She's a Shigenja Void.
Okay.
But what she does is she's immune to ring effects, so you can't do the Void Ring to get rid of fate from her. You can't dishonor her with the fire ring.
Tap her down either. Nice.
Exactly. And then she has, whenever she's participating in a conflict, the ring that you're going after also turns into a void ring, and you get to use both effects.
Oh my god, why? That's so good.
Yeah, so you would swing in with the water ring because you want to tap down that character, and you win, you get the water ring, but you also get to trigger the void effect, so you can remove a fate from somebody else. Well, here's the thing. Remove a fate from a character. Oh, now they have no fate. Now I'll trigger the water ring and tap that character.
That seems really good.
Really combo-ish. Yep. And with getting that card, and they got another card called Prodigy of the Waves or something, which says if the water ring is claimed, so it doesn't matter if you have it or your opponent, but if it's claimed, you can use an action to untap her. And she's a 3/3. So she allows you to attack and defend. If your first challenge is the water ring, even if you don't win the water ring, you still get to untap her after the fight. She's a very strong character.
Okay, that seems pretty damn strong.
Very, very, very aggro-y, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then they still have all their... since it's a Shigenja deck, you run the Storm card that gives you +X equal to the number of Shigenja you control. You run Against the Waves, which allows you to untap a Shigenja. So you're constantly untapping your characters. So you don't have a lot of characters in play.
But you're reusing them.
But you're reusing them constantly. You're getting the most value out of them.
Okay, but that also means that you're able to dump more fate on them, I assume, right? To keep them around?
Exactly. And then you're running Embrace the Void, which is an attachment. So whenever you remove a fate from a character, instead of getting rid of the fate goes back into your pool. So that way you can use that fate on another character later.
Nice.
Really good cycling. But the card that really did it for them is the new holding. It is limit 1 per deck, so that kind of sucks. You'll only get 1 in the whole deck. But it says, discard the Imperial Favor, bow and send home an attacking character.
What?
So every turn, as long as you win the favor, every turn, you get to nullify a character of your choice.
That seems pretty fucking incredible, actually.
It's really good.
I can see why it's 1 per deck.
Yes, definitely. And then you still have Display of Power, which says, you're going to win? Okay, I'm going to claim the ring. Not you. I mean, they still have their tricks, but what they did was they added a little bit more combo and a little bit more pushiness. Not aggro, because it's not weenies, but a little bit more like biting control. Kind of like black control is, where it's not like blue-white, it's more aggressive. In fact, I would consider Phoenix to be black-blue.
Phoenix is more black-blue?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay. And then, I guess I can see that. I always kind of thought that Scorpion was kind of there, but it seems like Phoenix has kind of grown into that theme more than Scorpion has. Yeah. Now, granted, you don't get the counterspell. That's true. But there is a neutral counterspell, so that's fine. That's good. And then like the splash clan that you put in is Unicorn, which that gives you access to the Spyglass, which every time a character enters combat, you draw a card. Well, you're playing a deck that untaps characters, so a character's going to get into combat more than once per turn. So you get to utilize that by drawing multiple cards per turn, which allows you to bid low, so that way you keep higher honor than your opponent. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then the most broken card in probably the game is called Talisman of the Sun. Okay. You attach it to a character, and what it does is you tap the talisman. So you don't tap the character, you just tap the attachment. When they're attacking one of your provinces, you can tap this talisman to move that attack to a different province. Okay. So what that means is, A, they're going to have to break all 4 of your provinces before they get to your stronghold. Because if they go after your stronghold after they broke 3, you can move it to the 4th province. Okay. So it slows down aggro decks like Lion. So, which is what we needed. Sorry, I say we like I played this game, but it's what the game needed, was something to stop the aggro decks, because it seemed like that was pretty much what won. out of the core set was, which we all knew, Lion was the top tier because they had the most broken combo that they could pull off. And they could pull it off easily. But it seems like... And it seems like that's how every game is these days. No matter what it is. Even Thrones is like that, where it's like, okay, we have to keep aggro decks in check, except the difference is that instead of releasing new stuff to kind of slow down aggro decks like L5R is doing, they go, hey, you know how we slow down aggro decks and really keep them in check? Add this new card that says if you win a challenge, you take 15 power from the fucking dude sitting next to you.
Yep, pretty much. And then the other thing that the Talisman does that a lot of people really like is, say you have like that high cost character showing, and they want to break that province to get rid of the character. Well, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to move it over to my Shameful Display. I'm going to block, and I'm going to use Shameful Display. So I control when you go to Shameful Display and when you don't. That's super strong. It allows you to keep your characters honored, that which was one of Phoenix's weaknesses if their characters got dishonored. Well, yeah,
that was the biggest problem I had with them, was that it was so easy to dishonor them, but it was so hard to actually re-honor them.
Right. So now you have that way to re-honor them. And you have Bowtie's Gift, which is tap a Shigenja, honor a character. So Phoenix got what it needed, which was ways to get rid of the dishonor, pretty much.
Okay.
Now, the latest Kotai that came out was won by a Scorpion player.
Okay.
In fact, he did an interview with another podcast called The Six Ring. Definitely worth checking out. Very good L5R podcast. Although the best L5R podcast out there is called Troll 5R. Very good.
I have heard of them.
Yeah. Well, one of the co-hosts is the guy who plays L5R here.
Nice.
Sparks. And he's an incredibly good Scorpion player. In fact, I don't think I've ever beat him. He's pretty good.
Nice.
And so Scorpion won. I tried out this dude's deck. I don't know how the fuck he won. This deck is so janky. It's not even funny.
Nice.
But
it's old Martel.
Where
it's just like all these shit ass cards that somehow work.
Yeah, it really is. Like turn one, he doesn't even play characters. He's like, no, I'm not going to play characters on turn one. I'm going to save that fate. He's got plenty of characters in hand because the deck runs quite a bit of hand, characters from the hand. But it's just really janky. He never puts fate on characters when he does play them. He runs that Ano Nuwari, which is remove one fate from all characters in play and draw a card. So he pretty much...
So it only hurts them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the weirdest, jankiest deck, but it worked because nobody was expecting it.
Yeah, okay, so it's exactly like how Martel used to be.
Yep. So
where it's like, I don't know how to play against this because I've never seen these cards played before.
Exactly. So the state of the game...
Oh, that's the best feeling.
Yeah. So the state of the game is pretty strong right now. In the future, there's still a couple things that I would really love to see in the future. One of them being, I would like that the clans aren't stuck in their Keeper-Seeker roles. I would like to see a generic Keeper-Seeker role that we could choose instead. So if we were a Seeker-only clan, we could choose the Keeper role, but we would get no benefits for it, which would allow me to play Keeper cards. I would like to see that. It just wouldn't give me the +3 influence, which is important, but if you want to play those Keeper cards, it just feels wrong that there's 3 cards that I can't play in Crane, even though they're Crane cards. So there's things that I would like to see a little bit different on that front. I would also like to see if they do these like sub houses like Mantis and Spider or Sparrow, that I would like to see them as splash only houses. So either neutral only, or you have to banner into them. They don't have a house card of their own, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see that, but we'll have to wait and see how they do this. It is excited, and I'm I can't wait to see how Fantasy Flight's going to either make this really good or really fuck this up.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I didn't get into the game, even though it's actually in a really good spot right now. But it is kind of nice for me to not jump in on a game or stick with a game and be able to look at it from the outside and go, okay, this is a very interesting twist. Still follow it from the outside and be able to see it objectively. Like, oh, that's really cool. That's something that the game seemed like it needed, kind of like the slowing down the aggro.
Yeah.
But if they don't keep with that, because like Thrones has done a little bit of that too, like, oh, hey, we don't have enough control cards. Well, here's some new control cards. Stuff like that. But then they flip it and they go, oh, we're also going to fuck everything else up later.
Oh, yeah. So, now we're going to bring out overpowered OP-ness.
Yeah. So I'm really... I like following what happens in L5R just because I've seen so many games fall, especially Fantasy Flight stuff.
Yeah.
That I'm curious to see how much time, effort, and honestly fucking logic they're actually going to put into L5R in the long run. Like, they're doing a great job with it right now. But I want to see what happens next year when, now that they've done the 6 packs in 6 weeks, now that, the collection is actually already kind of fleshed out. I want to see where they go from here.
And I think Fantasy Flight's biggest problem is they let their card pools get too big.
Oh, yeah.
And then they scramble to reduce them. It's like, look, just do the Magic thing. Keep the card pools moderately decent. You don't need a big card pool. It's okay to let cards cycle out. The thing is, we just don't trust you to reprint cards because I know that feels bad. It's like, oh, look, a person busts the pack and they're like, oh, I already have half of these cards.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the game, though, because that means those cards are in print. You can still use them.
Yeah. And again, I think that, once rotation happens for any game, I think that they need to come out with a new revised core set, and it should only be reprints so that the veteran players don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
And that way
And it shouldn't just be a reprint of the last core set. It should be a reprint of, staple cards that came out in packs and the core set.
Yeah, because it's like with Thrones, if they go, oh yeah, we're doing the same thing, that's exactly what they did for Netrunner. So if they do the same thing, where they go, hey, we're taking cards from the core set in the first few, the first cycle or whatever, first couple of cycles, I'm cool with that because guess what? Nymeria needs to be in the core set. She is the most important. Yeah, and she is the most important Martell card in the game.
Yeah, and you already own her, so you don't need to buy the core set because you have the packs. But a new player, it gives them the ability to get right back into the game.
Yeah, it allows them to go, I'm buying 3 core sets, I can build a tournament deck after rotation. Because they already have what's in print. Now, obviously, there will be other packs that will still be in print as well. But that's fine. But
as long as there's not 42 packs, we're good.
Exactly. And that's
if it's 8 or 9, it's fine.
And that's the other reason why, like, I was calculating how, all the prices and stuff of what I'm wanting to sell my collection for. And I started counting up all the chapter packs. I'm like, there's way too many fucking cards in this game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I hate to say it, but even when I would sit down to build a deck, I'm like, there's way too many combinations. And that's great. I like having options and I like having different combinations to mess around with, but it feels like there's no solid themes. It's kind of nice when you go, hey, Martell is going through a Sand Snake phase. Cool. They're going, and now it's going Voltron, Red Viper. Now it's going this. And I can build those different types of things. But now with how big the card pool is, it's like, throw in stuff and hope it works, or everything is just good stuff decks. Like, throw in 60 cards worth of staples and go.
Yep. And then it feels more limiting when there's too many cards.
It kind of does. It's weird. You wouldn't think so. You would think it'd be like, oh man, look at all the possibilities for deck building. It's like, no, because with all the OP cards that have been coming out, then you have to run them over any of the old stuff because the old stuff is crap in comparison.
Except for Nymeria.
Yep. But yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing. A little L5R, a little World of Warships. I really enjoyed L5R, and maybe one of these days I'll be able to talk you into jumping back on tabletop sometime and check it out again. But
maybe
it's one of those things that I completely understand what you're talking about, because I do it with Game of Thrones. I don't play Game of Thrones right now, but I kind of just watch it, and it's interesting, but I don't need to play it to be interested.
Yeah, and you know enough about the game, even with some of the rule changes, even with some of the new stuff coming out. If I tell you what a card does, you know whether it's fucking overpowered or if it's underpowered or whatever. You're like, oh yeah, that would work really dumb with this card, wouldn't it? And that's kind of how I am with L5R.
Sometimes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes I need you to explain it to me, but for the most part, I'm good.
Well, kind of like that Forgotten by History. Like, at first glance, everybody's like, okay, whatever. That's weird. Nobody's going to play that. And I'm like, no, you don't understand this card. This card says, fuck you in the face.
Yep.
So it's stuff like that. But yeah.
Yep. No, I completely understand. So I'm assuming you've been playing hundreds of different games this week, haven't you?
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, I have not got to play a lot of anything this weekend, or this entire week, because I ended up having to cover a shift on Monday. So I basically had, since we recorded last, I had Tuesday off and Saturday. So, because I basically worked Monday covering a shift, had Tuesday off, then worked Wednesday, Thursday, staff meeting Friday, worked for my dad Friday afternoon, ran errands, came home, and then slept. I didn't even play anything Friday. And then Saturday, we also had my nephew over the weekend, so played board games and stuff with him on Saturday, and then literally went to a party that I will talk about because it was a board game party. I'll discuss a little bit after this, but and then got home at like freaking 12:30 at night last night, and then fucking went to bed. So I had basically 2-ish days to play. And just kind of here and there messing around after work, but I have been playing The Division. I've been doing some new stuff though, and yes, it's definitely more Division. But it is different content though, and that's kind of the nice thing is, when we talked about Destiny, it was like, hey guys, we've still been playing Destiny, and it's like, oh, but it's the same content. We're still just grinding fucking public events. So let's talk about that for an hour. But with The Division, I've actually got to try some new stuff, and the first thing I want to talk about is something that will greatly interest you.
Yeah, I was kind of reading this in the show notes. I definitely want to hear more about this.
So, survival mode is kind of my new love of this game, and it's... If anybody has played The Division, you know how the game plays. It's third-person, cover, shooter, RPG, loot and shoot, basically. It's Diablo with guns.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, it's Diablo meets Gears of War.
Kinda, yeah. The way survival mode works is taking that gameplay style and putting it into something like 7 Days to Die or Rust or Ark or something like that. To a degree. Like, you can't, like, go build houses and shit with blocks. But the survival aspect of it. So, basically, you spawn in. There's a cutscene when you load into survival. You actually queue up for it like matchmaking, basically. And you can queue up as solo or as a team up to 4 players.
No, it's PvP, right?
It is not only PvP. So when you queue up for matchmaking, and this was the big thing, because I actually talked to our friend Eric about it, and I'm like, hey, do you know much about survival? And he's like, not really. And he says, I really need to try it, blah, blah, blah. We started talking about it, and I said, does it have a PvE only version? And he's like, yeah, when you queue up for it, you choose PvP or PvE. And I'm like, I'm going to go buy that DLC right now. And it was definitely the best $7.50 that I've spent for this game, or any game in the past, I don't know, probably 3 years. So basically how it works, there's a cutscene, explains why you're in where you're at. You spawn in, you basically wake up on the floor, and you have advanced sepsis. Basically, when your helicopter crashed, you landed on a rusty nail. Literally, no joke.
Oh, wonderful.
You basically, you can even see it in the cutscene where you actually pull your arm off of the nail, and you're bleeding. So you have an infection. So you have the infection, and you have 1 hour to live. Otherwise, you are instantly killed once that timer hits 0. You also have the cold to fight. So you actually have your cosmetic items, basically like your jackets, pants, hats, whatever. They are now cold weather clothing. So they have an actual cold resistance stat on them. So when you're finding these, like a jacket or a hat or a scarf or whatever, it'll have a certain amount of cold resistance. And the more cold resistance you have throughout all of your gear, the average is going to give you a resistance to the actual cold. And it'll show, all the stats up top when you walk outside, and it'll show, it's this cold out and you can withstand this amount. So the difference is how fast your heat bar goes down, which is your body heat. Once your body heat meter reaches 0, you start taking health damage. If you go down from health damage, you're instantly killed. You got hypothermia and died. So there's that. So basically, the story is that there's a blizzard that's rolling in. You need to get to the dark zone to get some experimental antivirals and get them back before the blizzard rolls in, because you may not be able to find them after it hits, or it may just take too long and somebody else may get them, blah, blah, blah. So storm hits. While you're in transit, you get thrown from the helicopter. You land on nails. You wake up. Now here you are. You're in the middle of the blizzard. And that's why you have to survive in the cold. So you still have to eat food, you have to drink water, but it's not quite like a normal survival game where if you are starving, quote unquote, you don't take health damage. Same with thirst. What it does is that they actually have a buff. So if you're like well fed, then you can regenerate health all the way up to full health instead of just filling the current bar.
Oh.
Exactly. Drinking, so staying hydrated, will give you a buff so that all loot containers have a aura around them, and you can see them through walls.
Oh wow! Drink that apple cider.
Really important. But you still craft and stuff like that, just like in a survival game. So you'll find materials. And then you can upgrade materials just like in the normal Division crafting system, all that stuff. And you basically take materials, you craft cold weather gear, you craft weapons, you craft items, and you also have to craft your own skills. So you spawn in with literally the most basic clothing possible, a pistol, and that's it. You have no skills. Oh, and you have one med kit.
Do you get to keep your cosmetic stuff?
You do not.
Ooh,
unfortunately,
wow.
You do not.
And that's hardcore.
Which kind of sucks. Yeah, but you also get to deconstruct everything. So loot everything that you can, and then deconstruct it so that you can get more materials, and it just kind of makes things go faster.
Are you going to make a video on this?
I actually already have 2. The funny thing was I actually did a tutorial video of me just running solo. Uh-huh. And apparently my mic wasn't working. So I recorded an hour and 16-minute video of fully detailed tutorial and didn't record a fucking second of my audio. So I had to actually, that was what I did this morning. That was my project this morning, was I had to get up, watch the video, and write notes. So I had 106 bullet points of what to say.
Go ahead. You could have just pushed play on the video and record on Audacity.
That's what I did.
And then just speak over the video the entire time, and then add that track into the video using.
Oh, that's what I did.
Express.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. But I had to watch the video so that I remembered what I did in order. So that I wasn't going, oh shit, I forgot that I actually do this later, so I can actually talk about it then instead of talking about it now. And then doing it and being blank. So I had to watch it, then watch it again while talking over it, and then I had to actually put it together, and it synced up nicely, except the video and audio started right away, and Twitch which I have to say, as much as I enjoy Twitch, also fuck them, because anytime you upload a video, it has to put this like countdown timer on it. And if you select to not have a countdown timer, it cuts the first 5 seconds of your video off. And there's no way to fix that. So I'm trying to delay everything by 5 seconds, but with HitFilm, I don't know how to just add dead space. Like, I can drag it just a hair, and I can get about 3 seconds in, but it's so finicky that it's like 3 seconds and then it jumps to 12 seconds. I'm like, well, fuck. So we'll see how it turns out. But I'm still messing with it, so whoever's listening, sorry for the inconvenience. You're going to have, a little bit less content. You'll have to listen to a little bit less of my amazing voice. But one of the very interesting things is that your goal when you get into survival is to get to the Dark Zone, which is not PvP even when you get into the Dark Zone. This is completely instanced. There's like 16 to 20 players that are all dropped in with you. And it's, for instance, with the PvE, other players can interact with you only by reviving you reviving them, which takes a med kit. You can't just go over and hold F to revive people. It takes an actual med kit to do stuff. So there's more of a gamble to it, but they can steal your shit. If you kill a dude and he drops an item, another player can just walk by and take it. And that fucking happened to me. I was clearing out a landmark, so it's just got boatloads of chests and caches there. And this dude just runs right past me while I'm fighting these guys, loots the whole landmark. I'm fighting the very last guy. He downs me. I'm like, well, that's the end of my run. The guy comes over, revives me. I kill the guy, the NPC, and the dude literally takes every single item in the area. So I run as fast as I can to this ambulance that's right down the street where part of the fight took place. And I'm like, I remember there was a weapon here, and I need a weapon. So I ran way down there as fast as I could. We got there at the same time he took that one too. And he did not fire a shot, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So I called him more than a couple of names. Yes.
So loot everything as you drop it. Yep.
Yes, as fast as possible. Also, you can use other players as bait. If they are, just like that guy did, I went in and was clearing out the landmark. He slipped in and took all the fucking loot and fucked off. Now, when you get into the Dark Zone, you have an objective. You have to get the antivirals. You have to craft a flare gun and do all that stuff. And in the video, you'll get to see and listen to all that. But the interesting thing is when you go to extract, it's just like the Dark Zone. You go to an extraction zone, you shoot off the flare, but instead of it like summoning a bunch of dudes that come in and fight you, and other players trying to fuck you over, it summons a single hunter per player in the extraction. And hunters are the most dangerous enemies in the game. They basically mimic other players. They have their own set of skills. They don't have armor, but they do have, high mobility. They can vault. They can blind fire. They move cover to cover. They've got grenades. They have their own set of med kits, which they have 3 of, so they can heal themselves to full 3 times. They're a pain in the ass. So basically, your goal is you pop the flare, and then you kill the hunter, and then you can extract once the helicopter comes in. It's actually not that difficult, except when another player shows up, and then there's 2 hunters. Or more players.
What about if you pop the flare and then somebody shows up afterwards? Does it spawn another hunter in then?
Yes. Which actually happened in the video that I will be uploading. I ended up killing my hunter, and it took 2 of my 3 med kits to do it, but I killed him, so I had 1 left. And I saw the hunter spawn. Like, I saw him run into the extraction. I go, oh, fuck, there's another player. I'm like, well, wait a minute, because that means that's good, because I already killed my hunter, so now it's 2-on-1. We've got this on lock. The other player never fired a shot.
Oh.
I had to 1v1 2 hunters in a row.
I would have just, not attacked and waited for him to die then.
I should have, but also I was trying to complete a challenge, which is to kill 5 hunters in survival mode. So I was like, well, if I kill him, then I get another point for that. And I'm like, I don't want to go hide and the hunters still come after me because I'm the last person that shot. So I have aggro in the area. So I was so pissed. So I get used as bait a lot. Luckily, I don't suck, so I can actually handle myself most of the time. But that's basically how survival mode works. It is the most fun I've had with this game. And
you get to keep everything that you found in there?
Interestingly enough, the loot system is weird for survival. So basically, once you get to the dark zone, you can start looting caches. And just like in the dark zone in normal, the PvP dark zone. And those caches go into your contaminated bag, just like in the dark zone, and you can carry 6 of them. And they're just caches. There's a weapon cache, a gear cache, and a mods cache. And you can kind of like, you can destroy some and get, like all weapons or a mix of however many you want. But basically those you will take with you if you extract. And then you also get caches for just playing survival. So you'll get a certain amount of points, and for X amount of points, you'll get this many caches. And so, exactly. Now, and that is whether you extract or not. It will give you stuff.
Okay. So you don't feel like you wasted an hour if you died to the hunter.
Exactly. And the weekly for survival is 20,000 points. When you extract, you get over 10,000, usually 11 to 12,000 points. So if you do 2 survival runs a week, you will get a guaranteed exotic item. So about 2 hours out of a week and you're guaranteed an exotic. Plus, I think I usually get about 10 to 12 regular caches just for playing survival. So you get a lot of rewards.
All right, well, thank you guys for listening. We're going to go off and play No.
Pretty much. Another point to briefly go over is the first global, or my first global event came up. Which
Are they like Destiny ones?
These
we were talking about them last time, and I was super interested in them.
Yeah. So, okay, so you know how Destiny does their global events, like their faction rallies and everything like that? Okay, this isn't those, because this actually rewards players for doing stuff. Okay, so basically, I think it's every 6 months, because the game's like around 2 years old, and this is the 4th global event. So I'm assuming it's about every 6 months we get one. So what it does is we get a playlist, and we get a mutator that is a global mutator. So this one is Ambush. And basically how it works is, let me see, where's my fucking notes? Okay, Ambush. While you are standing still, in cover or out of cover, you have a bar above your health bar that fills and gives you a damage buff. When you move, the damage buff bar depletes. So when you stand still, you get a damage buff. When you move, the bar goes down and fluctuates depending on how far you move. Now there is a playlist of missions, incursions, stuff like that. So like there's a raid that's on the playlist, and I think 4 or 5 missions. Those are on the quote unquote global event playlist, which means they also can have covert and strategic ambush, which are upgrades. And covert is the same damage buff, but after it depletes, you start losing health. And strategic is regular ambush with covert ambush, and the damage buff depletes while you're next to an ally. So you get a buff, and it depletes when you move or are near allies, and you take damage after it's depleted. So there's some crazy shit that can go down with that. And you do get like extra bonuses for having the different ambushes on, and there's certain like challenges. There's 3 masks you can get that are cosmetic, and they generally only pop up for very specific achievements and for these global events. One of them involves the strategic ambush, and the other ones are just like kills while moving and kills while stationary. Really easy to get those two. Just takes some time. But the cool thing about global events, this is my favorite thing, is that every global event, they release 4 new classified gear sets. And I'm going to very briefly talk about classified gear sets because I keep mentioning them and I never explain what they are. And people are going to be like, what the fuck are these? Classified gear sets are the highest of the high-end items. So they are the same gear sets. So let's say...
they're your old Stone Jordans.
Yes. Well, think of it like this. Immortal Kings, right? From Diablo. Okay, so let's say that was a 4-piece set. Okay? It was not a 6-piece set.
Okay.
It was a 4-piece set, and it gave you whatever, the normal stuff.
Turns you into a god. Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, it would be like, turns you into Leonidas from 300.
This
and
is
like,
Sparta!
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I feel like a badass. And it's like, yeah, my whirlwind does some extra damage when I use it. But then classified items are another set of gear sets, basically. So it's still Immortal Kings, but it's Immortal Kings classified, which means it is a 6-piece version. And
so it's like primal Immortal Kings with 2 other Immortal Kings on there.
Kind of, yeah. So they're a little bit easier to get than like primals. And that's actually what the global events is so good for. And I'll explain how the rewards work and why they're amazing. But so
just Diablo 4.
this is my Diablo 4. So basically, it's a 6-piece version that has the same 4-piece as the original one, but it has 2 new, a 5-piece and a 6-piece bonus. So
are they really good?
They're so good. They're almost overpowered. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to give you the easiest one because it's the easiest one to explain, and that is Striker. The 4-piece Striker bonus is that whenever you hit something with a bullet, you get a stack of a buff that makes you do 1% more damage, and it stacks up to 100 times. Whenever you miss, you lose a stack.
Oh, super easy.
Yeah, so you deal damage, you get more damage. You miss, you lose part of the buff. Really easy. So the 6-piece version, and I can't remember what the 5-piece, but it basically goes, the 4-piece is what makes you play a certain way for every set. Like, this is your build. And then the 6-piece for the classified is like, enhances that. So the 6-piece for Striker is, whenever you hit with your bullet, so basically whenever you hit a target, you're still getting the damage buff, but also you heal yourself for, I think it's 0.1% or 0.10% or something like that, of your total stamina or total toughness or something like that. Anyway, so basically, when you do damage, you do more damage, and when you do damage, you heal yourself. It's literally, you give yourself fucking life leech. And it's one of the most broken classified sets in the game because it's high damage output. It's actually the highest damage output in the game. And you heal yourself. It's insane. So that's one of the ones that people really are after. But with this one, we got 4 brand new classified sets that got debuted at the global event. And how it works is whenever you do missions, whenever you do incursions, HVTs, which are high-value targets, they're basically bounties. Anytime you do anything like that, you're going to get GE credits, global event credits. And global event credits go to 2 things. The superior ambush cache for this one, and the regular cache. The regular cache is shit. It costs 900 credits, and it's garbage. The superior one costs 1,500 credits per cache, and it gives you 2 items. They are guaranteed to be set items or exotics. And they have a 43% chance to drop a classified.
To be upgraded then.
Yes. So I have gotten, and they have a chance to give you a bonus drop. So there have been times where I have gotten 3 classified items out of 1 cache.
Wow.
And they only give you the classifieds that are being debuted. So it's only from those 4 sets, which is good and bad. Like, there's 2 good sets and 2 that are mediocre. But the interesting thing is I have seen people open 2 and 3 exotics out of these things too.
Oh, wow.
That's huge. But here's why this is so good. Lexington Event Center, which is not a mission that's on the playlist, it takes about 10 minutes to run with a decent group. Okay? And you can just matchmake and get in. Everybody farms it. It is the most farmed mission or anything in this entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's fucking memes about this shit. So, and you can just repeat it. And what it does is you spend 10 minutes, you get 750 GE credits for completion. So you basically run this thing twice and you get one of those caches.
Oh, wow.
That is why this global event is so good, is because almost everything gives you those credits, but also it's so easy to farm instead of going, oh yeah, I gotta go farm public events and do all this extra stuff and blah, 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 and I don't actually even get anything I really want. I get some shitty armor that I wish was not mobility, but it is, but I like the look of it. It's literally, I go and run this thing 10 times, I get 5 fucking caches, I now have 6 exotics and a whole fuckload of fucking classifieds. So they are really rewarding players with these global events, and that's something I really like that a lot. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I did get to do one of the raids, which was Dragon's Nest. It was a blast. I do have a video coming up for it. I won't really talk about that because we're running out of time. But it's very cool because the raids are all mechanic based. So all the rest of the content is very get in there and murder death. And this one, we had to fight a fucking fire truck. You cannot damage it. It's you're fighting the cleaners, which are the guys with the flamethrowers, and they literally repurposed a fire truck to shoot basically incendiary mortars. Okay, so your goal is, and it'll like basically throw like napalm on certain parts of the map, and so you have to move a bunch and get out of the fire. And you're basically trying to move a water tank across the ceiling by pushing these 2 buttons on the opposite sides of the map to move it further. And then you have to move up and hit the next set of buttons and keep moving it and moving it. And once you hit the last set of buttons, it'll drop it and defeat the boss. You cannot damage it. It is all mechanic based.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And there's fucking heal checks where he will literally just douse the entire room with fire, and you just have to heal through it. Like, it feels like a WoW raid. It is so fun. And there are 4 raids right now, and each one of them are completely different. Not even one bit similar. So that's really cool. And they only take like 20 minutes. And that's the nice thing. Is it's something cool. It's something hard. It gives you a bunch of good shit. And each time you do one raid a day, you get a guaranteed exotic. So, again, rewarding players.
Yeah. That seems about right.
It really is. And I kind of already talked about some of the build stuff with the classifieds and everything like that. But as far as other games I've been playing, like I said, I went to a board game party with some of my friends and coworkers. We played Cards Against Humanity, which was hilarious because there's nothing like playing Cards Against Humanity with a children's librarian, because you never know what's going to happen. Because you're going to throw something out there and you're like, I think this is just a little too dark, and then they end up finding it funny, or you're like, they have a completely different sense of humor. So that's one thing that I like about Cards Against Humanity is you get to really learn a lot about people. And it makes you come closer together. Sometimes you don't want that because you find out that people are really, really terrible humans. Luckily, that didn't happen last night. We played some One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which it's a fun game. It's interesting. It's kind of like Mafia and stuff like that. And I got to play Codenames, which I actually bought.
I love that game.
I ended up buying a copy after watching the tabletop episode where they played it. I'm like, oh my God, this game looks amazing. And even though it has somebody I really don't like in that video. But anyways, he was actually funny this time. But he's still married to Laura Bailey, and I'll never forgive him for that.
Hey, I gotta say something. First off, yes, fuck him. She's too awesome for him. She should be married to me. But I'm just saying. But I've been watching a shit ton of Critical Role.
Did he ever get better? Is he still cringy or
no?
Okay.
He's actually really good. Like his new character, he's playing an orc, who doesn't just act stupid. He's like an honorable orc. He playing the character really well. He's not being like kind of cringy to the other people around him. He's actually I actually look forward to watching him. He's gotten a lot better. And that
And that's how I felt with the Codenames video. I was like, wow, he's actually funny and not being a cringy douchebag. This is weird.
This new campaign, it's a completely new campaign that Matt Mercer made up himself. And it's got, I mean, Liam just plays a great role. As always, Liam's playing a person with a German accent. Laura Bailey is playing this character with like this almost Jersey, Brooklyn accent. Oh my god, she's great.
I think I need to watch this.
Yeah, they're only up to episode 3. I know that they put the newest episode on Alpha, which is like their program thing, and then a week later it comes out on YouTube. But oh man, like totally just been having a blast. In fact, it makes me kind of want to play D&D. I'm really seriously thinking about playing D&D. Like, I've asked around locally if there's any, like, beginner ones starting up, stuff like that, because I'm kind of interested.
Nice. And D&D is really a great game, and it's definitely one of those that you're never going to have a really bad time with it. Because, I mean, unless the DM's just a fucking dickbag. But most of the time, if that's the case, then that playgroup isn't going to last anyway. But if you get in with a playgroup that's got some good people who are, noob friendly, it's going to be great. And I keep saying, if you want to play D&D, we need to play some fucking Divinity.
I know, dude. Like, I know. Like,
I would say if you're even thinking about getting Rainbow Six Siege, just get Divinity. Yeah. I know it's double the price.
It is.
But that is 80 hours of content.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely check out Critical Role again. And now that it seems like maybe he learned his lesson and grew as a human being.
Yeah, this season, it's really... I mean, it's on a whole new level, dude. And we're getting to see it start, from the beginning. That was the problem I had with Critical Role, their last campaign. It's like, okay, let's check it out. Oh, episode 382.
Yeah, and aren't they, like, extremely long episodes?
Yeah, they're like 3-4 hours long.
Yeah, see, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for 300 episodes of 3 to 4 hour long. That's too much.
So yeah, what I do is I either listen to them while I'm at work, or I listen to them while I'm playing like World of Warships, because you don't need to watch the video.
No, and that's kind of the nice thing.
I mean, unless you just want to watch Laura Bailey, which is completely okay.
Sure. But then you also have to, look at the man bear. Maybe if you just crop the screen or something. But anyway. But yeah.
Hey, I just want Matt Mercer to lull me to sleep.
That's also fair. He needs to do audiobooks. That's what he needs to do. Oh man. But yeah, so got to play Codenames. It was a ton of fun. We had 8 people, so we had exactly kind of the right amount. The very first round, I was the spy master for my team. And let's just say that the all-girls team that we were against were definitely the smartest. Like pure truth in advertising. The very first thing that happened was I gave the first clue. They actually got both of them right. It's like, yes, this is great. We're off to a great start. And they're like, well, let's just take a shot in the dark. Let's take a bonus guess right off the bat. And I'm like, all right, if you guys want to. And they're like, roulette. And it was the fucking assassin. And we immediately lost on turn 1.
Wow.
I'm like, God damn it.
Spyfall yet?
I have not. I heard it's very similar.
Spyfall is weird. So what it does is you have like 20 different decks. Now each deck has like 8 cards in it or 10 cards, and there'll be one spy card, and then the rest will be all the same location with different jobs. And then so you shuffle it, you pass it out to everybody. So one person's the spy, so he doesn't know what the location is. Everybody else sees their card, they know the location, and then they have a job. So it could be like, International Space Station, job astronaut, job something, it'd be something like that. But they're all the same location, different jobs. And what it is you take turns. So say I'm first player, I will go, Caleb, and then I will ask you a question. So I would say we're at the beach, and I would say, Caleb, why is it so hot here? And you would say, it's hot here because we're in a very warm hemisphere. Because you don't want to give away the location because the spy is trying to figure out the location. But me asking you the question, if I said, why is it so hot here? And you go, well, it's not, it's cold. Well, obviously you don't know it's the beach then. So you're obviously the spy. So everybody's asking questions around. The spy at any time can be like, I'm the spy. I'm going to guess we are at the beach. And if he guesses right, he wins. If he guesses wrong, you all get a point and he loses. And at any point, a person could be like, I'm going to guess you're the spy. You know, it's very fun. Very liar-based game.
Nice. Those bluffing games can be a ton of fun.
I love them in party settings.
Oh yeah, definitely. Resistance, come on, son.
Oh yeah, greatest party game ever.
Well, sir, do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't, other than to check out the YouTube, check out, our Twitches. I have started streaming again.
Awesome.
So, definitely check out my stream. It's usually like early morning on the weekends or whatever. And I'm just pretty much doing World of Warships.
Okay.
But I just kind of want to work on an easy way into it. I don't want to go heavy into it like last time.
Yeah.
But it definitely would help if there was somebody in there, so I'm just not talking to thin air.
That's fair. And as far as on my Twitch, it's, I don't know, I'm basically just uploading my stuff. I'm recording videos and then uploading them to Twitch, and then I am exporting those videos on Twitch to our YouTube channel. So we're still keeping up to date with our YouTube.
Perfect.
And I'm messing around with Twitch, but I don't really have the internet for streaming. I may be able to stream like some lower quality games like Hollow Knight or something like that, and I'll mess around with that. But as far as I want everyone to know is, for me at least, and possibly for Crimson as well, that this is all very experimental. We're just kind of trying to find a home for our content with how YouTube is treating their creators. But we're definitely not giving up on YouTube. We're just trying to add something else and see if we can utilize both to see what happens.
Right. We don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, but we understand that...
Especially when that basket is fucking everybody.
Yeah, but we understand YouTube is the most universal way to get the videos out there because of the fact that, it's so simple to use. You just click on YouTube, you go to your subscriptions, you see the newest videos.
Exactly.
It's ease of use. It's just, if we want to grow, we also have to diversify.
Exactly. And so, having our Twitch accounts, and we'll have all the links in the description below for YouTube and both of our Twitches and everything. So just check those out and definitely, bear with us while we're trying to mess around with Twitch, because it's definitely one of the least user-friendly things I've messed with. For a user, like for somebody uploading and creating content. So, but yeah.
I agree. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap this one up. And as always, thank you for listening, and you can check out our previous episodes at mediocregamers.com, as well as on iTunes and Google Play. Keep up to date with us on Facebook and Twitter at 2 Mediocre Gamers, and chat with us on Discord. Links will be posted in the description below. Now, get out there and play some games. Weirdo.
Yeah.
I like that part right there.
Me too.
I mean, come on, if they've listened this long, they deserve this.
Right? Blooper reel, right here.
Ooh, that was a nice little drop beat right there.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
See ya.